In this video, I'm going to teach you how to do email marketing specifically for e-commerce. In order to do that, I'm going to rely heavily on the data, the research, and the case studies from Omnisend, which is an email marketing program designed specifically for e-commerce. Now, there's a macro comment I want to make here before we get into the details about email marketing for e-commerce. It's that e-commerce sellers are missing out on a lot of money. They're leaving a lot of money on the table, and there are 4 big reasons why I believe that is the case. The first is that order confirmations are grossly undervalued. E-commerce sellers tend to get really excited about promotional emails, doing things like announcing new products, when really the hidden treasure is the order confirmations. They generate a 70% open rate, and they can generate 4x the revenue of regular promotional emails. In one case study I'm going to show you later, order confirmations at a 32% order conversion rate. Second big reason e-commerce sellers are missing out on a lot of money is that most shopping carts are abandoned. If you do not have some sort of automated system in place to extract money out of abandoned shopping carts, then you are not reaching your full potential. Abandonment emails generate 22 times more orders than regular promotional emails. Third big comment here. Most email programs are not designed for e-commerce. They're designed for business to business. They're designed for newsletters. They're not designed to extract as much money as possible out of your e-commerce store. Now, there are specialized e-commerce programs out there like Omnisend that have pre-built sequences, pre-built templates, pre-built integrations with your e-commerce store. They're going to make things a lot easier. So you're not trying to reinvent the wheel to figure out how you get more money out of e-commerce email marketing. Now, the fourth big comment here is there are lots of money-making opportunities that are completely ignored by e-commerce sellers. One of those is web push notifications. They have conversion rates of 30%, but so many e-commerce sellers don't even touch them. Another key thing is that e-commerce sellers will often send emails to people. Some of those people won't open the email, and that email is never resent to them. If all you do is resend the same email to those people that didn't open and change the subject line, you can add another 11% to your revenue. Now, the agenda for this section, we're going to start by talking about confirmations. Then we're going to talk about promotional emails. In the third section, we'll talk about welcome sequences. In the fourth section, we'll talk about abandonment emails. And then in the fifth section, we're going to talk about other things such as A/B testing. So let's get started with confirmation emails. Your biggest missed revenue opportunity may be the order confirmation email. It generates 4 times more orders than regular promotional newsletters do, and order confirmations have the highest open rates and the highest click-through rates. In one case study I looked at, there's a sportswear company that achieved a revenue per email of almost 10 times that of promotional emails. And that translates to an order conversion rate of 32%, almost 1/3 of people buying. So let's walk through some best practices in terms of creating a template for an order confirmation email. Here are some of the key things that are essential, and then there'll be some other things that maybe are not essential, but are going to be important in terms of driving more revenue. So the first is starting with the order confirmation message and a thank you, and you can see what this looks like graphically on the left. Then you put in the order date. You follow that up with some product details such as the title, the price, the quantity, anything else that might be relevant. Perhaps in your case, it's the color or the materials. Then you have the total price, you have the billing and the shipping addresses, the payment method used, the shipping method, and perhaps most importantly, the view order button that takes people back to the store. This is the treasure chest. If they go back to your store, there's the potential that they could almost immediately buy something else. So these are the essentials to have, but there's much more you can do. You can start adding individual products into the email. You can start putting in special promotions to extract as much revenue as possible out of these automated emails. And what you want to do is present irresistible offers within the order confirmation emails. So what could that be? Well, it could be special discounts. Perhaps the reason you're giving them a discount is because they just bought something. You give them free shipping on the next order. And the other thing you can do is you can promote a product that goes well with the one they just purchased. So for example, if they bought running shoes, this is an opportunity to promote running socks. So how do you create an order confirmation email? Well, In Omnisend, what I do is I just go in and I create a new workflow. It's part of the automated sequences that they have. You can see that there are various types here, 6 different categories. I go into transactional, and what's going to come up here is a variety of different confirmation options. So I could go with this initial order confirmation sequence. Now, the other thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set up a shipping confirmation sequence. And that could just be an email, as you can see here with this flow chart, where you input the subject, you put in the pre-header, the sender's name, the sender's email, etc. You can modify this. You could also do an SMS. You could do A/B testing, where you see how the email performs versus the SMS, or you could have an entire sequence of follow-ups and test those sequences against one another. You can see on the left here, you can simply drag and drop what you want to have. It could be push notifications. Maybe they get the notification, the shipping update right there on the website, or maybe they get it through an SMS or an email. You can set up delays, and you can set up A/B testing here. The next section, what we're going to do is talk about promotional emails. The key to success with promotional emails is to make sure that they are shoppable. One way you can do that is by using Omnisend's tool called the product picker. Basically, you just log into your e-commerce store, you select the product you want, and then that product shows up with all its details in the emails. You don't have to copy paste the title, the description, the photos, etc., because of the integration with the e-commerce store. The other thing that you can do is you can have automatically generated unique coupons. Why? Because it's a better shopping experience when people are given the opportunity to act on specific offers like coupons. So you can have a specific percentage off, specific dollar value off. You can offer free shipping. You can also do a cool thing like having an animated gift box where they unveil a special offer that's just for them, perhaps because they're a most valuable customer, or perhaps because they acted on a specific offer in the previous email. And all of this can be automatically synced with your store, so you're not needing to constantly keep both systems up to date. You can see an example on the right here where there's a Valentine's Day promotion, 10% off using the special coupon code LOVE10. Another example where we're promoting a special offer for Father's Day. So how do you create a promotional email? Where you go in, you create an email campaign that's under the category, the goal of promote products. And I'm going to show you an example where I chose this specific template, which is fairly minimalist. And what that template looks like when we're selling a physical product is like this. We're promoting these socks. We see that there's a discount here with the dollar price scratched out. The description, the title, the image, the call to action, all of these can be modified. The text can be modified. The link can be modified. Button style. You can do quick ads. You can drag and drop. Pretty simple process to create a promotional email. Here's an example of where I use that same template to promote a digital product. So one of my courses. I just simply added the title here, the subtitle, inserted the image, changed the call to action text to check out the course, and then I can play around here with the colors, the buttons, the width, etc. Very, very simple. Another thing that I did was I did an easy sync with MailChimp. So I didn't have to go into MailChimp, extract a CSV, upload the CSV. I just simply took the API code here, and I was able to get all of the emails that existed in MailChimp over to Omnisend. And of course, you can do all sorts of other integrations. So if you're doing a migration from Klaviyo, for example, you can use the data import tool. You can go to the app market and do all sorts of cool integrations that are going to save you a lot of time. For me personally, I was running into an issue with MailChimp. They start as a free program, but their price rapidly skyrockets once you reach a certain threshold for emails. So I needed another system where I was easily able to transfer all those emails that were collected and imported into MailChimp into another system. In the next section, what we're going to do is talk about welcome email sequences. There are 3 key things that I want to talk about that are going to help drive success for your welcome emails. The first is to give a special offer. You can see an example on the right here. Happy to have you take 25% off your first purchase. Use the code LS25. This is a good example of what you would want to do as soon as somebody enters your CRM, as soon as they sign up. Maybe they signed up through a landing page, maybe they signed up through a pop-up. Well, this is what you want to follow up with. The second thing is personalization. So ideally, you're going to personalize your welcome emails based on how users signed up, how they entered your system. So maybe they came in through a certain landing page. Well, you want to create an email sequence that's relevant to people that came in and entered through that landing page. Maybe they came in through a special offer. Well, perhaps you could offer them a similar offer or related offer. Or maybe they came in because of a specific product line. Maybe that product line was centered on running, and you're going to follow up with emails promoting other running products. And lastly, you want to promote products that people will likely buy next. So one way you can do that is you can use next product to buy predictive analytics. So if somebody purchased this product, then there's a high probability that they're going to buy this other product next. Now, if you have a lot of product data, it's going to be very easy to do that. You're going to see patterns, you're going to be able to run statistics easily. But if you don't, what you can do, especially in the beginning, is just go with obvious choices. So for example, running socks are going to go well with somebody that purchased running shoes, and vice versa. If they bought the socks first, they might be able to buy the running shoes next at a discount. Or perhaps you can promote other running socks. So there are going to be obvious choices, and then there's going to be more data-driven choices. So here's an easy way to create a welcome sequence. You just go into your program, maybe it's Omnisend or another program, and you're going to see options. Am I going to start with an email? Am I going to start with an SMS? Or am I going to start with a push notification? Or perhaps I'm going to start with something like push notification, follow up with an email, and then an SMS. Create different variants here based on where you've seen the most success in the past. If you don't know what's going to be successful, well, you could do A/B testing. This is going to be particularly useful if you have a lot of volume. So in this example, I just went with the basic default template. We have a delay after somebody signs up of only 1 minute, and then they're immediately sent this email. And this is what the email template looks like. You can put your logo up here. There's a discount to buy any product that they want and drive them back into the store. Pretty simple to do, saves a lot of time using these pre-existing templates. The next section, what we're going to do is walk through abandonment emails. The first abandonment email to consider is the shopping cart abandonment email. The fact is that the majority of people are going to abandon shopping carts. And that's why automated cart recovery emails lead to 22 times more orders than regular promotional emails do. And we can see that depicted on the right here, where the abandonment cart for VIP segment generated more revenue than any other automated email sequence in the system. So how do we create these? Well, we can simply choose a pre-existing template. So this one is called abandoned cart number 2, and it's actually pretty simple. It's just an email with a delay, and then another email, another delay, and then another email. So this last email here looks like this. What happened, a little bit of detail here, and a call to action to complete your order. And what we're also doing is we're promoting additional products to consider at the bottom with the shop now calls to action. And of course, you can choose to do whatever you want here. It doesn't have to be an email. It could be an SMS or a push notification. But also test different variants. Maybe this is promoting one product line and then another email promoting a different product line. So there's cart abandonment, but then there's product abandonment. This is when somebody goes, browses your website, looks at certain products, but then they never actually add it to the cart and they never end up buying it. So with programs like Omnisend, they know which product a prospect viewed last before they exited the website, before they exit your store. So what we can do is we can nudge them with emails to add that product to their cart. The other thing that we can do is we can say, well, maybe the reason they didn't add it to cart was because it was missing something. It wasn't exactly what they were looking for. Maybe they were looking for sneakers with foam instead of gel, or they wanted something with air in the cushioning. Well, that's what we could do is we could present them with variants that are similar to what they were looking for, and perhaps they'll add those to cart instead. And we can see that that's what we did earlier in our example, where it wasn't just about getting people to add it to the cart, but it was also presenting them with other product variants that they would consider. So there are simple product abandonment templates we can use here. Once again, there's the continue shopping call to action at the top, and there's also the ability to promote other products at the bottom that they might want to consider. In the next section, we're going to talk about some other factors with email marketing. So for example, A/B testing. First thing I want to talk about in this section is A/B testing. And when people think about A/B testing, they're usually thinking about something simple, like testing one email versus another, or testing one subject line versus another. I like to think of A/B testing in more macro terms. So for example, testing SMS versus email, testing Google retargeting versus Facebook retargeting. Then you can get into more detailed tactical things, like does subject A perform better than subject B? Or does a 10% off offer perform better than something like free socks? And all of these can be tested in Omnisend, for example. Another cool thing is to consider push notifications in browser. This is something not a lot of e-commerce sellers are using, but they can generate conversion rates that average 30%. So we talked about emails for cart abandonment, product abandonment, and for confirmations. All of these can also be executed through push notifications. Another key to success with email marketing for e-commerce is to make sure you're taking full advantage of integrations. I used to work in Silicon Valley with a company that built its entire success around integrating e-commerce with other systems. And here we can see we have integrations with Amazon advertising, integrations with Magento Store, etc. This is something that's going to save you a lot of time, it's going to save you a lot of money, and it's going to negate the need of hiring a lot more people to manually do a lot of the work that can be fully automated. Another key to success is going to be segmentation. So segmentation can increase your conversion rates by over 60%. We can segment in different ways. So we can segment by purchase behavior, segment by items bought, segment by average order value, segment by purchase recency. And we can also segment out the group of customers that were lost, and we can do a win-back campaign to try to get them back into our store and shopping again. There's also a cool thing in Omnisend called a campaign booster. This can allow you to get upwards of 11% more revenue, and it's very simple. It's basically just resending emails to people who didn't open, but using a different subject line and sending that within 48 hours of the initial email. Now, one of the keys to success is not just what you do when somebody's in your email system, but how you get them into the email system, lead capture. So from my experience working in e-commerce software in Silicon Valley, I looked at a lot of data to try to identify who are the most successful, the highest revenue e-commerce companies. And one pattern I noticed from analyzing a lot of them was they frequently use pop-ups to capture people's emails, to get them into their system. So you can use pop-ups, but you can also just use landing pages. And you can get creative with these. So for example, here, there's a spin the wheel where if you enter your email, you can win one of these offers. That's something a little bit more exciting than simply put in your email to enter our newsletter. You can also capture people's phone numbers in this way, or you can say enter your email to be notified when this product is back in stock. Another cool thing is with retargeting, often what you need to do is you need to download pixels, or you need to create custom audiences by downloading CSVs and uploading them into systems like Facebook. Well, with e-commerce email marketing systems like Omnisend, you can just do the integration and then it's automated for you. There's no need to fiddle around with special formatting. So you can start promoting those ads immediately through Facebook and through Google retargeting. Another thing I want to highlight is the importance of SMS. So in the email marketing space, that tends to be what we obsess over. And we get excited when open rates are 60%, but often open rates are going to be a lot higher if you use something like SMS, and your revenue rates can also be higher. So in this case study, for example, introducing the SMS campaigns just in the first year alone generated $123,000 in revenue. So that may be a missed opportunity for you. Another thing is, as you get more experience, as you're getting more sales, perhaps you're already a fairly large e-commerce company, you need to start thinking about full automation. So not as simple as a transaction happened, we sent an email, but perhaps something a little more sophisticated. So for example, somebody abandoned their cart, the cart value was over $100. Okay, we're going to immediately send them an SMS to give them 10% off their cart. Or if the order value was smaller, then no, we simply remind them that the item is there for them to purchase. So we can get pretty elaborate with this. And the more data we have, the more experience we have, the more confident we can be in building an automated funnel so that we don't have to do that manually using labor. In conclusion, you can make a lot more money by optimizing every email, every SMS, and every page visit. Each of these touch points with customers and prospects is an opportunity for you to make more revenue so that you're not leaving money on the table. Another key thing is that people who initially abandon your pages or they ignore emails, they can actually be very profitable if you have the right automated systems in place to properly communicate with those people. Third point here is that automated sequences make e-commerce a lot more profitable so that you're not needing to do all these things manually. And you can use pre-built templates and integrations that are going to save you a lot of headache, especially as your e-commerce store scales. That's why I recommend doing something like signing up for a free trial of Omnisend.